Hello, one and all. It is yet again time for another look at Kamen Rider Revice. Didn't do episode 26 by itself because I felt that there were only like two major points in that episode because it's mostly one big fight scene for the drama. And episode 27 is really good and I want to talk about it before 28 comes out because I'm probably going to spend a lot of time talking about 28 next week. So let's get into these two episodes in this yet again two-parter. Episode 26, Showdown Farewell, the end of darkness and light. So our episode starts off basically finishing up where the last one ended, with everyone kind of getting the news that they are the descendants of Gifu, or Giff. I keep saying Gifu because I kind of like saying Gifu, but it's really Giff. Anyway, the three siblings basically decided they have to deal with the whole demon situation, with Vice losing control of himself, Love-Ku basically being Love-Ku, so kind of just there. I do like Love-Ku though. And Daiji definitely learning that Kagura is becoming a lot more active than he should be, all things considered. So he has to basically deal with him. At that same time, Kagura decides to take over, and he breaks into Phoenix HQ again. He basically comes because he's looking for a power-up. And, well, he's looking for a second two-side driver so that him and Daiji can have a fight. And notices a special power-up there. This power-up is the Crow Vice Stamp, which will later become another Vice Stamp because reasons. But anyway, he gets the Crow Vice Stamp, and it's learned that the Crow Vice Stamp can only work if either Kagura or Daiji sacrifice themselves in order to make it work, as it relies on the power of the other one to be completely subsumed, apparently. So that's Kagura's plan. He gets another two-side driver, and basically decides to have a 1v1 with Daiji to determine who will basically be the one in control from here on out. At the same time, Sakura is going to go see Weekend because she wants more answers about, basically their whole deal. And Ikki is visited by Busan, I remembered his name this time, who basically explains to him his father's past, which is more detailed in the Veil special. So basically they're doing another Rogue special, but this time with a deeper backstory with Veil. So yeah. At the same time, so Veil, the demon this time, has actually gone back to the demon's driver for some reason. I don't know why he went back. Mainly because I think him and Oceleta have the same goal of beating up the siblings. And so he decides, you know what, I'm going to work with you and actually let you use my full power this time instead of, whatever I was letting you do last time. So they head out alongside a new Vice Stamp, the Animacalis Vice Stamp, to, well, beat up on the kids, essentially. So the main crux of this episode is the Daiji Kagerou fight, and it's super, it's not one of the super slam knuckle fights that the series presents. It's more of a super dramatic fight. And that's kind of its downside. I'll talk a bit more about that later. But ultimately speaking, the fight is won by Daiji after a super emotional bit when Kagerou also gives him the Crow Vice Stamp, which turns into the Holy Wing Vice Stamp, allowing Life to turn into Holy Live. And good for that, because Demons beats the piss out of Revice with the Animacalis Vice Stamp, which allows him to use a new Gene Max form. And yeah, so it's up to Holy Life now to save the day. And that's for the next episode, or at least that's what we'll start the next episode. Episode 27, Stop It! Tyrants Rampage and Violent Runaway. I kind of really like the title for this one. So anyway, following up from last week, this is the official first fight of Holy Live, as Daiji fights Oceleta, and is really pissed at Oceleta for basically being Oceleta. We'll get a lot more reasons to hate Oceleta in this episode, oh god. Yeah, so they fight, and Oceleta gets his butt kicked, much to his own annoyance, because he was supposed to be uber powerful now, thanks to the full power of demons. However, he also ends up losing the demon's driver, as the demon within, Veil, leaves again, to where, I don't know. He apparently went back because Boo did something to get him out of Daddy Igarashi, but where's he going now? He needs a vessel to contain himself, And if he's not a Demon's driver, is he going to go back to the Veil driver? Where did that go? I'm assuming that's what Daddy Igarashi... but basically, Veil's existence is confusing to me right now. Anyway, Vice goes on a rampage because with this one more battle, yeah. Giff is awakening more and more as the fights in the series go on, and this is affecting the demons. As was mentioned last week, I jumped over that. But also because Daiji has gotten rid of Kagerou because he sacrificed him for the Holy Wing Vice Stamp, he no longer has this weakness, so he can basically just keep going, even if Ikki and Sakura have to deal with their demon issues, even though Love-Ku basically just stays in the background to, avoid getting into trouble. So, basically the only person who's in danger with the whole Giff rampage thing is Ikki, especially now, with him and Vice being merged into one, still. Yeah, anyway. With the power of Fully Alive and John, they managed to beat Revice by doing the double rider kick and knocking him out. They go back home, and finally Mama Igarashi comes back. She's been gone for 5 episodes now, what the hell. And basically says she knew the entire time, because of course she would know the entire time, it was her love story. And apologizes to her kids that she didn't tell them the truth earlier. It's kind of a really cute scene, especially because at the time, at first, it's Vice possessing Ikki, but as he hugs, because they'll have a family hug, he hugs his mom, and Ikki comes back. Before the weekend trio bust in the house and tase the fuck out of Ikki. It's it happens twice in this episode. I'm just bruh, why are you so quick with this taser both times? Yeah, they tase Ikki and they take him to Weekend's headquarters, or at least Weekend's dungeon alley thing that's next to their headquarters, and basically explain the whole situation to the Igarashis, where they also meet Papa Kawasaki, who basically says that he is kind of really sad. He feels bad about the whole situation, but he has to do what he has to do to try to defeat Phoenix as they're working to revive Giff. And as he says this, Giff wakes the fuck up, at least somewhat, as it rampages into Phoenix headquarters and eats some dudes before teleporting away. Yeah, it literally eats 4 dudes, or at least 2 dudes and then 2 more dudes later as it absorbs them into itself. As stated in the episode, and I believe earlier, the more demons and Giftarians are destroyed, the more their energies goes into Giff to further his reawakening, and a kind of bastardization of the normal ritual. So even if they've managed to find a way to stop them from killing the level 5 Genomaxes, their energy still goes into the demon, into Gifu. So yeah, they're basically screwed on this, as there's no way to stop, the resurrection, because they have to stop Giff. They have to stop the Giftarians, and Oceleta decides to take advantage of this and kidnaps a whole bunch of people to turn them into Giftarians. Ikki's still stuck in the basement. He gets tased again, if you're wondering. And so, it's Daiji and Sakura fighting against the Giftarians, and then Giff shows up, and also Aguilera's there watching, kind of remosed because she can't really do anything. Or at least this plot has basically sidelined her so hard for right now. And Oceleta's just loving it. He's loving, basically, being the evil mastermind, because he wants to turn the world into one that understands him, as we find out more about his backstory in this episode, which, honestly, considering the type of character he was, him being a light Yagami type, it basically makes sense why he is the way he is, even if it also feels kind of weird at points, considering. But yeah, so Oceleta's going on a rampage and making more Giftarians. Giff shows up and is attacking, and to make matters worse, Revice breaks out of the dungeon and is in Revice hijack form and shows up to fight because he's being manipulated by Giff and to fighting everyone else. And yeah, that is the episode. So everyone's totally screwed, with George grabbing the demon's visor to head out in the battle alongside a special Vice Stamp that he wants to use to fully purge the Giff influence from Revice. and that will lead us to the upgrade for next week as well as everything else. So, yeah, I had a lot more to talk about with this episode, didn't I? And that was this 2 batch of episodes. And honestly speaking, they make a really good companion piece. I honestly think 27 is a lot stronger than 26. Mainly because I feel 26... again, 26 focuses a lot on the whole Daiji Kagerou fight. And I feel it would be a lot more emotional if we actually saw Kagura a bit more. Like, we see him in spurts, and we see he comes back, like twice. Like, yeah, he comes back, 3 times, and is used as a plot point, 3 times. We never really see him, and we don't see him and Daiji's interactions a lot. And, we can assume that they've had a lot more interactions since his debut. But, again, because we don't see it, we can only infer, especially with the level of emotional importance that the episode puts on the scene, that they've maybe been talking or at least conversing a little bit since Kagerou's debut, and maybe since they used the whole rider stomp to bring Kagerou out way back when in order to find a dead man's base. Again, this is stuff that we can be implied maybe happened, but we don't really see it again in series, and that kind of ruins the emotional punch of seeing Kagerou's last stand, especially because in the episode himself he admits that he's getting weaker because of Daiji's influence on him. Again, it's all stuff that would be interesting if we saw more of Kagerou, but unfortunately because he was so sidelined as a character, which honestly, considering how many characters this show does have and has to juggle on top of its overarching plot, I'm amazed that they've been managing to juggle all the characters this well, to the fact that only so few have fallen to the sidelines to just become the sidest of side characters. And yeah, I honestly think it was also a good enough time to, get rid of Kagura for now. Although, it just brings to mind an idea. Since the Revice stamp was originally the original form, even if it was just a prototype, it makes me wonder if evil would have a form granted to it by the Revice stamp, similar to how, life has the holy life form because of the holy wing vice stamp. It's just a thought, and probably will be in some V cinema or something in the future. I don't know. They made a mold and they made a Revice stamp, so I imagine they might sell it later on just for the hell of it. Although it would be interesting if the Holy Wing Vice Stamp itself had the whole 2-side gimmick that the 2-side driver has, because that in itself will be pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, because the bulk of the episode is taken up by the whole Daiji Kagerou fight, it feels a bit weaker because we're not as emotionally, or at least I wasn't as emotionally attached to Kagerou as the episode wanted me to be. But the series did make it a lot better in the next episode because, immediately following after losing Kagerou, which seems like he didn't care that much about him until after he was gone, so there's a joke there. Daiji goes on a rampage against Oceleta, beating him the hell up, and, getting the Demon Driver away from him, which is good, but it also means Oceleta now has no power. I doubt that will last for more than an episode because someone has to be punchable for the next fight next week. And Oceleta's the only punchable thing around. Yeah, because I don't see them getting rid of the Giff coffin so quickly, all these considering that there are 20 more episodes left in the series. At least. Anyway, outside of that, we also do have a Galera subplot continuing with her basically going through her mini existential crisis in the 2 episodes, as well as, the explanation of Vale's backstory. And again, this is more further explained in the Vale special, so this is just a mini preview of the Vale special, which is fine. If you're gonna reference those special V cinemas and stuff, I'd rather it be a cool quick reference so everyone can understand exactly what's going on without having to watch the actual V cinema, which you can watch later on for more entertainment or context. Just an idea in order to help the plot move faster. I would hate it if they stopped in the middle of the episode to just go spend it 10 minutes of an episode explaining the full story behind Vale when there's a perfectly good V cinema ready in the wings. Anyway, the moment with Mom Igarashi in episode 27, it was absolutely perfect. Of course, she would also know about the whole Vale situation. but I also really liked how she just explained to her kids and was a loving mother. I also liked George in these episodes, as he was basically trying his best to... At first, he was doing his best to not get rid of either Daiji or Kagerou, and even later on, he was hoping Daiji would win, mainly because Kagerou would be too much of a loose cannon to actually control. It seems like they're trying to do a bit of a character change from his I only care about my own research thing that basically let him screw over Hiromi. And then later, somewhat screw over Sakura and Daiji in an episode. Sakura and Nikki in an episode. Which feels kind of funny, but I guess the situation could be changing. Also, the Giff coffin coming to life. That's terrifying. Because we've already seen that the thing can't be destroyed easily. So yeah, this thing just springs to life and eating people. That's pretty terrifying. I kind of love it. It's just floating in the air like a Cophagregus with a giant open mouth. Speaking of things, I honestly don't have a lot more side things to say. The episodes themselves are pretty solid. They were pretty fun. If you want me to talk about in terms of forms, Holy Live is maybe just the not thing I don't like. It's just something I really don't like too much in suits. I feel there's maybe too much white in the suit. I don't know. I have to look at it a bit more, but I honestly feel there may be too much soft colors. Like, I wish there was a bit more darker color in the suit, which would go against the theming. Considering the fact this is, Holy Live, but still, I feel like there should be a more darker color on the suit to offset balance or something. I don't know. At least, considering the fact that Kagerou was supposed to be at least partially helping to fuel the suit, I feel like that would be a pretty good reference to Kagerou. Anyway, Oceleta. So, as I said earlier, we find out about his backstory. He's, again, a light Yagami type, meaning supernatural talent child. Genius, rejected by the world because of said genius, to the point where his father would apparently abuse him, calling him a monster. Which, if you're getting punched in the face and just showing no emotion, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be freaked the fuck out by that. Unless you're just doing it to display dominance, which I'm pretty sure he was. Also, like the fact that Oceleta just has a very clear breakdown towards the end of this episode because all of his plans are failing. Which is fine, and it was good to have our villain, especially the villain who's probably on his way out right now, have some moments. Although I do agree, I do feel that Aguilera's sidelining is either leading to her dying or becoming a Kamen Rider in her own right to bump up the number. Speaking of, George is probably going to transform in the next episode too. Other things, I do like the whole conversation Ikki and Vice have in the dungeon basement thing. It's a pretty sweet moment between the pair. Ikki even asking Vice, "Are you actually Giff?" Which is also kind of hilarious because I remember that was an early fan theory. Until the dad showed up and then people were debating if he was Giff or not. But no, still not Giff, just Giff cells. So, yeah. Overall, I have to say, I like these episodes. Revice continues to be a pretty good series. And, yeah. Pretty good episodes. I look way forward to the next episode because that's going to be a lot of payoff for two episodes worth the build-up. And, yeah, again, till next time, everybody.